What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm Graham Powell on this screen. That's Michelle Zangulis on the same screen. Say what's popping, Michelle.
What's poppin', Michelle?
We'll talk about a few things here and there, running related and maybe life related too. I don't know. We'll find out. Before we get going, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. The Tough Runs Don't Last podcast is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. You can find us at Tough Runs Don't Last podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at TR Don't Last. All right. We'll start this off. I have done some races since the last episode. We'll start this off while I'm thinking about it. There's a pretty big race tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you recall what tomorrow is? This is Sunday, by the way. This is Sunday. What's today's date? April 19th. Yeah, so tomorrow is the what, Michelle?
Boston Marathon.
Yes, it is. The holy grail of marathon racing is tomorrow. I have never done that race. Michelle, have you done that race before?
No.
Okay. Well, that's one that we have not done. I think 4 people running it tomorrow. You know how many? 1?
I know 1.
Okay. Yeah, I know 4 people running it tomorrow. Big deal to be able to run that race. However you get in, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, Boston qualifying it's the hardest race to get into as far as qualifying, right? I mean, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, holy grail of marathon racing. It's one that I would do, but it's not something that I feel like I have to do. Because I'm not going to qualify. My skill level is just not there. And even if I just said, I'm making it my life goal to qualify for Boston, I still wouldn't be able to do it. I would have to run a lot faster than I can run currently. And it's just, there are other goals out there to achieve for me personally. But for some people, a lot of people, it's a big deal. I know one of the people I know, it's their first time running Boston. They did get it through qualifying, and it was their main running goal at a certain point, I believe anyway. And they're running Boston tomorrow, and I think they're going to try to BQ while at Boston, which is a thing. You can do that, by the way. You can Boston qualify at Boston so that you can get invited back the next year. And yeah, that's how that works. When did you first hear about the Boston Marathon, Michelle?
Oh, I don't know. The first time that I remember was with the bombing. With Wright.
That got dark in a hurry.
I know, but that's the first time
you remember hearing of the Boston Marathon.
Not hearing about it, but that's the first I remember. Okay. I'm sure I heard about it before then, but that was obviously such a big deal. That's what is stuck in my head.
When did that happen? Do you remember?
2012?
Okay.
Maybe 2013? Somewhere around there.
Because I had run a marathon before up to that point. I think I had done both the Hogeye which I did Saturday, by the way. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I had run 1 or 2 marathons before that happened. And that was obviously a huge deal, huge tragedy. And screw the guys that did that. One of them's dead, as they should be, and the other is rotting in prison. And I hope they do, till they're dead. Pieces of trash that did that. But yeah, it was. Yeah, that was very memorable. I paid attention to it, especially because I had run a marathon at that point. and I had never thought about trying to run Boston. Really didn't even know how tough it was to get in at that point. That was back when just running a marathon was almost good enough for me. But yeah, I remember paying attention to that very closely. But Boston, it's a hard race to get into qualifying wise, and it continues to get harder.
Mhm.
The cutoff times or the qualifying times continue to get faster and faster by the year. And I'm kind of technically am getting faster in some ways, but I wouldn't be able to qualify. Okay, so I think less than 1% of the world population has run a marathon, just a marathon. To run Boston, that's the 1% of the less than 1% that get to run Boston.
Yeah.
So it is a big deal to be able to run Boston and to Boston qualify and what have you. It's not a goal that it's too tough of a goal for me to strive for, and I don't think that I could anyway. But for some people, it's like the goal. I know a couple of people. My first memory of somebody wanting to qualify is a girl I know, um, and she is fast and was fast then. This is probably, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe, and she was very fast, but not quite Boston qualifier fast. And she made it known like her goal is to qualify for Boston. I remember thinking, "You're fast, but you're not that fast." And I think I've talked about it on the show before. She had an athletic build. Like she was a really good runner, like a very athletic build. But I mean, you could tell she was dialed in, locked in for at least a year because she changed her body. Like she went from an athletic build to like a very thin runner build and just changed her diet and did continue to get faster and faster and then did qualify for Boston. I think she's qualified at least twice. I think she's run Boston at least twice that I know of just based on qualifying times. Yeah. So it is achievable if you're talented enough and you're dedicated enough, but you really kind of need both of those. I mean, I'm sure there's some that obviously don't have to work as hard, but you still need some level of, you need a lot of dedication. I'll just put that you need a lot of dedication, a lot of skill to be able to qualify for Boston.
Yeah.
Not a goal that I want to strive for just because there's so many other races out there. Um, I don't know what the number is as far as the number of people running it. I know it's usually in the 30. It used to be in the 30,000s. I imagine they keep it that just because it is what we're going like 150 years as far as how long it's been around. And it's essentially kind of the same course, as my understanding. You start in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, and then you end somewhere in Boston, somewhere in downtown Boston, I believe. Michelle's looking it up now.
It's around 30,000 runners. Roughly 24,000 of them are qualifiers, and 8,000 are charity or invitational runners.
So I did want to kind of make it a point to talk about the uh, number of charity runners versus the elite runners in it. Now, the vast majority are qualifiers, elite level runners, but they do have charity runners come in too, which they have to raise a lot of money for charity to be able to get a bid for this race. And the flack toward the charity, or there is some flack toward the charity runners from the elite runners. Some of them, not all. Some, mainly the ones that don't get accepted to run in Boston. They take it out on the charity runners for taking up the spot. But really, it's like those charity runners were going to get that spot anyway. It's those other people just didn't get accepted, whether they weren't fast enough or were just SOL,
Yeah.
out of luck. Uh, Do you have an opinion on that? I don't know if I asked a question that warranted that, but I think you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about this last time in regards to New York, I think it was. Um, because
Yes.
somebody had basically said the same thing, that they didn't deserve it for that race. And I have a different opinion in regards to Boston than I did previously. And that is because I believe there should be one elite like race out there like this that you need to qualify for. Now I think having some charity runners are great is great. Um, I would love to see 30,000 of the people like that qualify, but there's probably not that many that do.
There
Or
probably is.
there are, but maybe they just can't. Maybe it's capped at 24. I don't
You
know.
have to cap it at a certain point, like
But
based
that's
on the course, it like how many people you can fit. The year I did Chicago, not to cut you off, but the year I did Chicago, it was the year after COVID. When it's usually 50,000 something people, it was 30 something thousand in 2021 when I did it. And that was a ton of people. Like
yeah.
it was so many people. So I can only imagine what it's like and this is Chicago. I mean, these are
Mhm.
wide streets. Not saying Boston doesn't have that, but you start in Hopkinton, it wasn't made for 50,000 something runners.
I'm not
That's why they only have
But
30,000.
that's what I'm saying, like 30,000 people. Like you cap it at the 30,000, but have them all be people that qualify. Because I do think there should be one elite race. Now, we talked a little bit about this, and that excuse me, in regards to that, that does mean though that they would need to take it away out of the majors. Like it wouldn't need to be one of the star races. Um,
We talked about that
that's what I'm saying.
off
Yeah.
camera. Yes.
Um, but I do think that there should be one race out there that is for the elites, for the people who can do it.
Well, now going back to the major thing, okay, one, charities would miss out on a lot of money if you do that.
Yeah.
Uh, so you're missing out on some really good causes if you decide to go that route.
Mhm.
I don't think it's asking too much to reserve 8,000 bibs where they had to raise probably around anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 a piece. I mean, you can do the math there. That's a lot of money going towards various charities. So you're cutting that out if you're doing that. And going back to whether or not it should be a major, I understand the point because the 6 star medal is a big thing that uh, for people wanting to run all the world marathon majors. Of course, now there's 7, and they're about to approve more. So the 6 star medal is staying in place, but they're going to just add more and more and more. It's going to come to 9, and it's eventually going to get to 12 and maybe more because why wouldn't you? I've talked about that. If it makes money, I mean, and 3 of those 6 world marathon majors are in the United States. So, I mean, yeah, we're a big country, but if we're talking about the world majors, there needs to be more than 6. It's like, okay, 3 of those are in the States and the rest are elsewhere.
My
Tokyo, London, Berlin.
my thought would be that one of like if you're gonna keep it at like 6, you need to take 2 away from the United States and do those in other places. So ideally, I would think that like we would keep New York in it.
Well, they're not, that's not going to happen.
But that's my like that's what I'm saying.
Well, they're not staying at 6. They're only going to increase. They're not going to stay at 6. They're keeping the 6 star medal.
I am aware.
Okay.
I know, but that would be the thing. Like if you're wanting to make it more worldly, take
Earthly.
two away from the United States. Go ahead and do what is it, Sydney? That's the one that's
Mhm.
joined, right?
Cape Town.
And
Cape
Cape
Town
Town.
will eventually, and then I think Shanghai is next or something. They're going to add more. Like that,
Yeah.
those three in the States aren't going anywhere though. So that's just not going to happen.
But that's my
Proposal.
Yep, there you
And
go.
well, it'll get shut down. Won't happen. I mean, you can send this. We can send this to Abbott and see what they have to say about
Yeah.
it. And they're gonna be like, "No, we get a lot of money from those, so we're not going to do that." Makes yeah, yeah. But talking about before I forget, going back to taking Boston away as a major, if it's only going to be for elites, yeah, that would allow more people to chase the 6 star dream or what have you. But I think you're also taking away some of the prestige of that medal too if you eliminate Boston because because I don't know, you don't have to work as hard as they did, the other people
Hmm.
that got it, previously that have already achieved the 6 star dream,
Right.
gotten that medal accomplishment, etc. You're taking away the prestige of that medal if you eliminate Boston too. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a double-edged sword there. I think I don't know. I've heard. I don't really have an opinion on it or a strong opinion on it because now somebody Runner's World did have a article that they put out there saying unpopular opinion, something along the lines of charity runners shouldn't be shamed for the way that they are for getting into Boston,
Mhm.
which I agree with that, and I reposted it on Instagram just because people have a very strong opinion on it, one way or another. And if I'm going to pick one, I would say, yeah, I agree with the article. I don't think charity runners should be
Yeah.
shamed for raising a bunch of money for charities that could use the money and they get a bib out of it for Boston.
Yeah, I don't think that they should be shamed. And that also goes into like the other controversy that's happened with Boston. I sent it to you on Facebook. Um, so Nike put up different like billboards
I,
around Boston,
I saw that.
and one of them did missed the mark. One of them missed the mark. It said runners welcome, walkers permitted.
Tolerated.
Tolerated. One of the two. Same thing though. Um, and it's like, as somebody who is like a run walker, like that's not okay. Like there are people who like do that method and are very fast, but they're fast because they're able to do that. And so by saying like, oh, you shouldn't be walking, that's I don't like it.
Doesn't that kind of contradict what you said though? If you think Boston should just be for qualifiers, then you should be in support of that.
Yes and no. Like my thought process is the ad, while it's in Boston right now, it's for everybody. Like you're saying, you should, if you're going to run a marathon, you shouldn't be a walker.
But it's not for everybody.
It hit the mark. It missed the mark, and
I
Nike took it
personally,
down.
I personally didn't have a problem with it, um, but it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I didn't have a problem with it. If you're saying that Boston is for the elites, then that's what you're saying. That was their way of saying that. I think people are just too sensitive. I didn't have like if you're that worried about that, you don't have enough problems in your life. To me, if Nike wants to put that out there, I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem with it.
I mean,
Uh, like I'm not fast enough to run Boston, and I never will be. So it's not an issue for me. I also don't have now. I did have my big goal. I'd say in 2019 was to run all 6 majors, but then I did I could see where things were going because I was paying very close attention to it back then. I've run Chicago. That's the only major I've run. And I tried to get into 4 others. I tried to get into London, Berlin, and what was the other one?
New York.
Yes, New York was the other one. Of course, got denied all to those. And back then, you had like a 40%, anywhere between like a 35 and 40% chance of getting into Berlin, maybe 30, 40. Now it's harder. When I applied for Chicago, you had a 50-50 shot of getting in. I got in on the first try. So that was how I got into Chicago. I applied in 2019. Basically, though, I did the math on how much it would cost to do all that,
It's a lot.
especially back then when I wasn't making very much money, and also how difficult it was to just get in one of them.
Yeah.
And it was only going to get tougher. And I would have had to raise so much money for Boston because can't qualify. And also just the travel. But the really big thing for me was that I knew they were just going to keep adding more. I knew it wasn't going to stop at 6. I could hear rumblings even back then of Cape Town, of Sydney, and more were and because why would you not add more? It's going to make money. More equals money. So I knew only more were coming. So at a certain point, it's like, well, okay, you get 6, then what? Okay, by the time I got to 6, there'd probably be 12. There'd probably be 6 more at least. So I said, there are other goals out there. I'll just go chase those. So I've stopped caring about it, and so I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I can understand why Boston qualifiers, it means more to them because they really had to work to get that qualifying time, and that is a big deal. At the same time, if you're able to raise 20, because it's like $20,000 right now, or used to be. I really don't know now.
It depends on the charity. It's 5 to 15,000 is the.
But
But it depends on the charities. It said some of the larger charities, they have a minimum of 10 to 15,000. A lot of the charities though have a minimum of 5,000. So
that's still a lot of money that you got to raise.
Yeah.
And you're probably, and let's be honest, unless you're a terrific salesman, you're going to be paying a lot of that money yourself.
Oh, yeah. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, yeah, you're forking over a lot of that money yourself. If you're able to do that, then more power to you. Like you've earned a bib as far as I'm concerned. You didn't earn it the same way, but you paid for it. You put your time and your effort and your wallet into it to get a bib. If you want to run Boston that bad and that's how you're able to do it, I'm fine with it. So I guess I maybe do land somewhere in the middle. I just don't like the vitriol toward the charity runners.
Yeah.
Like I've seen articles about people like onlookers of Boston that would have given flack to some of the slower runners. I mean, like made fun of them during the race. I've heard of that.
No.
And well, one, you're on the sidelines like a douchebag. If you're making fun of people out there running, even if it's slower than what you think is fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, one, you're a tool if you do that. And I don't know, it's just mean. I'm not the nicest guy in the world, but I'm not gonna give somebody crap for being out there for running a marathon.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty amazing if you're doing any marathon. But if you're somehow able to do Boston, that's pretty cool. However, you're able to get a bib, I'm cool with it. But I know the same runner I had mentioned about qualifying earlier. I think this might be the first time I can remember hearing somebody giving flack to somebody that didn't qualify because she had made a comment basically kind of saying that they didn't deserve a spot because they didn't qualify. It's like, no, you're not really running the race because you didn't earn it, kind of thing. And I remember I had that response. I was like, okay, calm down.
At the end of the day, you're still going 26.2 miles on the Boston Marathon course. So
I get it. Boston's the holy grail. It's the big one that everybody wants to do. Or well, I don't want to really. Now, if somebody gave me a bib and I had the financial means to do it, then yeah, Of course, I'm going to be there. It's going to be great podcast material. But it's not a goal of mine. It's not one I'm currently seeking, and may not in the future. I don't know. You're really holding that. We've got a Bumble in here doing something, so it's a little distracting.
Yeah.
Bumble the Great Pyrenees Golden Retriever mix. Which, by the way, if for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube, if you're wondering about my outfit, I'm wearing an old work polo. I did do a 5 mile run today. Michelle rode her bike beside me while I ran it, but I turned around and trimmed a bush in her backyard. That's growing next to her house, and this is like my yard work shirt because I have 5 of these from when I worked with this place years ago. Did this job at that place years ago. So it was either take it to Goodwill or give it some use, and so they're my yard work shirts now. So yeah, it's weird for a podcast, but it's what it is, and we're gonna go move something later, and I didn't want to shower and get all cleaned up for it, so it's what it is. All right, so got my workout running today. It's the 3rd day in a row I've gotten a run in. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow because next Saturday, I'm going for a sub 4 hour marathon. I don't know that it's going to happen because it's probably going to be warm, but it is flat and it's straight. It's a down and back. It is the Frisco Railroad Run. Now they have it's weird. They got like an 8K, like what is it, like an 8K?
I think it was an 8K,
a half, a marathon, a 50K, and a 50 miler. I'm doing the marathon. I want to do a marathon in all 50 states, and I'll be checking off state number 3 next Saturday in Missouri. I've run races in Missouri, but it's only been like 5Ks. I've never done anything with the name marathon in Missouri.
Next week you'll be able to say you did.
Yes, I'll be able to check that off and going for sub 4 hour. I'm actually attempting it for the 2nd time. I tried it in December, didn't work out. It was cold and a lot of elevation, so it just wasn't in the card. My foot hurt, just wasn't in the cards that day. Yeah, going for it next Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a prediction to our listeners?
I'm sorry, I don't think you're gonna make it.
Do you want to say why?
It's mainly because you've been going back and forth on this for a while. So like the first time you were like, I'm just doing this for fun, like 5 hours, just for fun. And then it went to like
explain by doing this. You mean this race?
Yeah, this particular race. And then then you were like, maybe 4:30. And then I think you went to 4:20. And then you were like, I think I could sub 4. And then you went back to like, no, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to do like 4:20. And so you've gone back and forth a few times. So I think you're going to get out there and you're going to decide, no, I'm not actually going to try.
Well, the one time I tried was at 3 Bridges. This is the one time I went for it. And it was cold. It was cold that morning. And my shoes were still kind of newish. And my sock was rubbing weird against my left, the inside of my left foot. So that was giving me problems. I was probably pace-wise, I was probably around like a 154 half marathon for the first half of the marathon. But by then my foot was hurting and it was cold. And so I was just tighter than I usually would be. The weather just had something to do with it. So that didn't help things. And I had to stop and retie my shoe. And then I could just tell like I didn't have it. I just didn't have it that day. There's too much of this over the bridges. And I just didn't have it in me. And then I realized I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
I think I just said, let's just set 4:30 and I'll be okay. And I came in at 4:22, whatever. But I'll go for it. It's gonna be warmer. That could be good or bad, but I'll take whatever I get Saturday over what I had to do at Three Bridges in early December. It was cold that day. I would much rather run in heat than that. But it's also going to be straight, and it's just a down and back. Now, I mean, 13 miles is a long way running straight, but that is going to help. That's not having a whole lot of incline. So I do look forward to that, and I will use that as some motivation, maybe. Or I may just get out there and say, yeah, this is hard. I'm going to pull back. But it would be cool to have that 3 next to a marathon time for me.
Yeah.
So I would like to do that. But once I do that, if I do that, it's done. Like it's like, okay, I did it. Now I'm just for the rest of the 47 states, I'm chilling. Like it's sub 5, maybe 4:30, but it's just sub 5. Let's just go have fun, kind of thing. So that's how I'll be treating the rest. But if I can knock out that sub 4, I'm at least going to attempt it. And everything's gonna kind of have to go right. As a friend of mine said to me, it's you don't, which is true. You don't plan a PR. It just happens. You never plan for the. I've never had a PR where it was like, yeah, I was going for that. Now I would like at the Hogeye half last year. I realized at a certain point, oh, I'm going to PR, and then I was like, oh, I can come in under 145 for the half. So I mean, I really turned it on for the last mile and a half, I think, or last couple of miles. I was like, if I keep this pace, I can do it. And I did. It was 144.33 was that one. So I'm gonna go for it, but it'll either happen or it won't. My weekend will be fun no matter what, whether I do it or not, because I'm finishing regardless. Yeah, everything's gonna have to go right in order for that to happen. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
What is next on your race schedule, Michelle?
The next race that I will be doing is Soma,
which is in June. So we
Yes.
got a little while. I'm
Yeah.
doing that one as well. I did go ahead and sign up for 2 of the remaining 3 Grand Prix races I wanted to sign up for. So I just have one more left to register for, which registration for that opens tomorrow, according to the website, which is tomorrow being Monday, April 20th. And that was for the pumpkin run in Lone Oak. So I still need to register for that one. But then I'll be done. I'll be done as far as paying for registration as far as the Grand Prix goes. Now, I did have a couple races last weekend. This is the first weekend I haven't had a race in a while, right?
No, because you didn't have one Easter weekend either.
Okay. But I've had quite a bit prior to that.
Yeah.
But nothing this weekend. But last weekend I did have a double run or double race day. It was Hogeye. It was the Hogeye Marathon, and I did the 5K the following day, which that was interesting. I did the Hogeye Marathon. I was a 5-hour pacer, and it was a good time. It was a good day. It did get hot, but I'll take that over cold any day personally. But it went well. I came in at 4:59:37 was my official chip time for that. And I don't know, it was a good day. It was I don't know, I had a good time. My favorite part of that race, you get to run through Arbus Ballpark, which is where the Northwest Arkansas Naturals play, which is the Kansas City Royals AA minor league team. But it was fun. No hiccups. At mile 21, you run by a middle school, and Thrift Shop came on. That was a pretty good song to jam out to. And like when he hits but shit, it was 99 cents part. That was I walked up as soon as that happened. I was really excited about it, and I kind of screamed it out loud as it happened. Got a few chuckles out of that. But pacing wise, that was interesting. I had a group early. I picked some up along the way, but nobody finished with me. Really, the last 5 miles or so, I was running by myself. Really, the last 6 or so. I did. It was interesting. There were these 2 girls running in front of me for a while. They looked to be about my age or so. And you could tell they were gym girls. They were they were fit. You could tell they go to the gym all the time. And I think they stopped to walk for a bit and I passed them. And I could hear, and there were a couple other girls who were younger behind them. They saw me, and I was the 5 hour pacer, and that's kind of a big one. People want to come in under 5 hours, or a lot of people do. That's one of the big pace spots in the marathon. And one of them said, I could hear one of them say, "He's ahead of pace. Don't worry about it." And then they just proceeded to like mob style gripe about me about they need to get people that will actually be on pace. You know how far ahead of pace I was?
How far?
About 50 seconds. I was
Okay.
about 50 seconds ahead of pace, which I like to bank a little bit of time. 50 seconds ahead of pace is what I was.
Yeah.
I just said when I came in, 457, or no, wrong. 450. That would be bad.
That would be
Yeah.
very ahead of pace.
4:59:37 was my official chip time. So evidence speaks for itself. But I kind of got a little tickled by that. I was like, really? Y'all are really? Because I looked at my watch. I was like, what are they talking about? And I was like, really? Y'all are griping about 50 seconds ahead of pace? By the way, none of those girls came in under 5 hours. Like they were gassed by mile 24, and it had gotten hot at that point. The 2 I was talking about were still with me until mile 24, and then I just continued to do my job. But I just thought that was a funny thing to point out. I had this experience. I don't remember the person's name that was supposed to pace with me, or that. Well, I say that they started with me. I had a co-pacer for Hogeye, and we ran to get. He kind of stayed ahead of me, which I don't have a problem with because I get it. You don't want to shoot the breeze with me for 26 miles.
Yeah.
I'm fine with you doing your own thing. Perfectly okay with that. Some people are chatty Cathys the whole way. Some people just kind of want to keep quiet. I get that. But he got a little bit in front of me, and at mile 9, and I think we were like 9.5 miles in. I remember because there was a mile 10 sign that was way ahead, like way short, and we were really at like 9.5 miles. And I said, "Hey, I'm going to stop and I was like, I'm going to stop and retie my shoe. Go ahead." And wasn't long. And when I got done tying my shoe, I looked up and he was gone. You know when I saw him again?
When?
At the 26-mile marker.
Oh wow.
He was standing there waiting on me. Just standing and did I tell you about this?
No.
Yeah, he was just standing there and waiting on me. One of the other pacers afterward, the one that came up and was talking to me, when at a certain point I turned my chair because this person who was supposed to be pacing with me was a couple tables over, and I realized he had left, and I said, "Tell you what happened." And I proceeded to tell her about this. But yeah, he just basically went on, and then just when I hit mile 26, he was standing there just waiting on me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that, but I'm talking about it on this show. I had said if the race director asked me about it, I'll tell her, but I'm not going to just be like, "Hey, this guy did this." We are volunteers at the end of the day. You should still do your job, but I don't know. It wasn't enough for me to say, "Hey, this is a problem."
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to talk about it on the show because it's my show, and I'll do what I want.
It's our show.
Our show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
My mistake. But anyway, that was interesting.
Yeah. And then you got yelled at by the finish line.
Oh, do you want to tell them about that?
So I was in Northwest Arkansas for just to support, to be
For a day anyway. That's another thing that we might need an entirely different podcast.
We won't talk about that.
About
it. Just the universe basically said I should not be in Northwest Arkansas.
But she was.
But I was.
First night, yeah.
And so Bumble and I were there, and we were just gonna like meet up for like lunch after. But Bumble was getting antsy, so we decided to check out of the hotel, and then we just went to the finish line because we had time. So Bumble and I are just hanging out, and he's meeting all these fun people, and then
he being Bumble.
Okay. And then we saw, like, we were standing where like the runners kind of run around a curve, and then it's a straight shot to the finish
in downtown Springdale.
Yeah. And so we could see sorry y'all, Bumble has a bone, if you can hear that. So we could see Graham coming around the corner. So got up so that we could go and like cheer him on to finish. And so Bumble and I are standing there, not in a group of people. We are.
No, there was a lot of people.
No,
a lot of people.
We were away from people.
You weren't.
We were. And I yelled like, "Woo, go Graham." And did Graham look at us? No. And Bumble, for those of you that don't know, Bumble is an all-white dog. He is very hard to miss.
Big
like
dog.
Big white dog. Okay. He sticks out. And Graham did not pay any attention to us. So I yelled, "Fine." Or like, "Rude. Don't say hi to us," or something like that.
You said, "Okay, don't look at us."
Yeah, I said rude first. I do know that. And then he looked over at us.
That was all I heard. I said, I heard, "Don't look at us then," or whatever it was. And then that's what I was like, who would say that? And then I turned, I was like, oh, Michelle would say that. So that was the first time I saw you two.
Mm-hmm.
I was locked in. This is how seriously I take my job as a pacer. I was locked in. I was looking at my watch. I was looking at the finish. I was gauging how far I had to go to the finish and how close I could get to that time without going over. So I mean, I'm locked in at that point. So I had kind of tuned everything. It all sounded the same on both sides. People cheering. And I like when they say to the pacer, like they were saying to us, "Finish strong" and all that. I'm like, I'm doing my job. Like I can't gut it out right now. That's not what I'm here to do.
Oh, I'm just gonna say, watching that finish line, there were some people that just like, I don't know how they had so much still in them to like full sprint the finish. There were a few that like everyone was like, "Wow," as we were watching, because like just they would turn it on and sprinted.
That's common.
But 26 miles?
It's common because you think you got nothing left, and you could say that about any distance, whether it's a 2 mile or it's a marathon. You can feel like you have nothing left, but when you see that finish and you see how close you are, especially when you have somebody like maybe on your tail or that you're trying to pass, you find that extra bit of energy to finish strong. So I get that. But yeah, I wasn't there to finish strong. That was what I tried to do the next day at the 5K. Which, by the way, the Hogeye Marathon medal, beautiful medal.
It was a nice medal.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I'm posted on some kind of social media with it. Don't have it here with me and what have you. But so I had to turn around and run the Hogeye 5K the next day. I didn't have to, but I chose to.
Right.
It was a Grand Prix race, and so I was going to go give whatever I had, whatever that was going to be. I didn't know. I was thinking in my head, if I come in under 24 minutes, I'll be happy. And I did do that. It was 22, high 22s, 22 something, and finished about where I normally do. There's somebody in the Grand Prix that were pretty similar skill wise. They beat me, but I wasn't worried about it. We were kind of neck and neck for the first 2 miles, and then I just when I hit really on the turnaround. So there was a turnaround of about 1 point whatever, just under 1.6. But I do remember looking at my watch and seeing 163 on distance, and that was when I was starting to run out of steam. But when I hit mile 2, I was gassed. I was thinking even then, thank God this is only a 5K, because it's usually the 10K that's been the Grand Prix race for the Hogeye the last couple of years. And fortunately, it was just a 5K last Sunday because I had nothing left. It would have been a lot tougher to run a 10K that day. And I was only pacing a marathon, but 26.2 is 26.2. Yeah. It's rough if you're taking it easy or you're going hard. Now I did have the luxury of a hot tub. I've stayed at my mom's, house sitting for her, and she has a hot tub in her backyard, which is a beautiful background. I sent you the video of it. And so it was just dark out in the country. You could hear crickets and coyotes and just the bubbles from the hot tub. And I sat in that thing for a whole hour. Now I would get hot sometimes and I would come out and just put my butt on the side, but I kept my legs in there for the whole hour pretty much. And that helped a lot. I felt really good, a lot better than I normally would have without it going into Sunday. And I felt good running until, like I said, I hit that turnaround. I could tell I was losing steam. And when I hit mile 2, yeah, it was rough. But it got done, and Michelle's disciplining Bumble under the. That was very discreet, by the way.
He's trying to eat my shoe.
He is trying to eat your shoe. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Good weekend at the Hogeye. And got a little wooden trophy out of it that they like to do for awards there, which I like. But it was a good time. But yeah, last weekend was Hogeye weekend, and that was my third marathon of the year. Number 4 will be next Saturday.
Yeah.
Based on this current schedule, I will do 6 marathons, I think, by the end of the year.
At least 5.
At least 5. I think I'll be able to do 6. I did sign up for one in Kansas, in Overland Park, Kansas, which I believe is outside of Kansas City. That'll be the weekend before Thanksgiving. So we got a ways before that, but I did go ahead and sign up for it. So that'll be state number 4. I'll check out later this year. But I don't remember the Gobbler something. It's a big one there. It's very popular. It's a Boston qualifier course. Don't remember the name of it, but I will be there the weekend before Thanksgiving. Now Bumble's trying to eat my croc that I have on my foot, by the way.
Yeah, my shoe was not on my foot.
Yeah, mine is on my foot, and that's what he's going for. But yeah, as far as getting ready for next weekend's marathon, I've run the last 3 days. I'm going to run again tomorrow. I'm going to take Tuesday off and do homework on my other podcast and run again Wednesday, and that's it. I'm taking 2 days. Thursday's basically going to be a pack day, and Friday will be a travel day. You're going with me. We'll arrive. It's in Willard, Missouri, which is outside of Springfield. I think it's the northwest. It's northwest of Springfield, like just northwest of it. It's right outside of Springfield, and yeah, we're gonna be staying in Branson. We're gonna get there Friday night. Imagine we'll eat along the way, and yeah, get up. Basically, gonna check into the hotel, get up early, and I'm gonna go run a marathon, and then we're gonna chill the rest of the weekend
Yep.
in Branson. I'm glad that we're coming back Monday. Did you take off Monday?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, yeah, I did too. So we're gonna take it. We're gonna have a good day Saturday and Sunday, and then come back Monday. And then after that, really nothing for. Well, that's not true. I have toad suck 10K the following week, and then I signed up for a half marathon the next week.
Yeah.
And then which is in Little Rock, it's a U.S. road running club race, which is a smaller event, and I just kind of use it as a training run. Um, Good easy way to check off a half marathon for somebody that wants to do 100. And then the River Trail 15K is toward the end of next month, which I'll be done with school by then, so I'm excited about that. Um, but we've got quite a bit, or I have quite a bit of stuff between now and then, and Michelle will be along for the ride for some of it at least.
For some of it.
Yeah. But did we miss anything on the podcast?
I don't think so.
All right. I don't know if it was entertaining, but that's what we have going on in our world. Here in my blue polo shirt and Michelle's Chase Race shirt from 2 years ago. She is rocking that.
This was from last year.
But I said that.
You said 2 years ago.
Feels like it was 2 years ago, considering we've already run it this year. That's where I get. But yeah, it was last year's. My mistake. But yeah, I guess that's it for now. Good luck to everybody running Boston tomorrow, Monday. Whether you got in via qualifying, which is amazing and impressive, and to those of you that got in via charity bid, which is also awesome and impressive and amazing. So that's a lot of money to raise for a bid to Boston. But for a marathon, I mean, yeah, I know it's the biggest or the most prestigious, I guess you would say, but still, it's just a marathon at the end of the day. But I guess that's it for now. But we'll be back in hopefully a couple of weeks and do a recap of everything else I've done between now and then. But until then, we'll see y'all next time. I'm Graham. That's Michelle.
See ya.